Hey guys, and welcome to a rant video. In today's video we're going to be talking about the brand new update 5.1 and more specifically a aspect of that update that I really dislike. Now, brushing over the fact that they've made minuscule and rather unimportant changes to certain champions, the fact that they're bringing in a new faction at some point, and the fact that overall the update seems a bit underwhelming. They've added something new, which I can't stand. It reminds me of a system from another game that I used to play, that game being Warframe, and they've taken this system and made it decidedly worse. This system, of course, is the gear rerolling, or reworking as they've called it. It adds a new section of gambling mechanics that really didn't need to be added to an already very RNG based game, and I can just see it being a horrible cash grab, a horrible system implemented. And again, they've actually made it worse than the system that I'm used to. The system that I'm used to, of course, is Rivens. If you're not familiar with Warframe, Google Rivens. There's a whole slew of videos so you can see for yourself and compare. The reason why I don't like it, and the reason why I think that they've made it worse, is for 3 or 4 main reasons. The first is that with Rivens, and I'm going to be comparing them to Rivens the most because it's the system that I am most aware, although again I haven't played the game in quite some time, is that Rivens can be traded in Warframe, and trading isn't a thing, thank God, in Raid. What this means is that you've got decidedly less reason to want to do the thing that you want to do, i.e. re-rolling this gear, outside of just trying to get better stats for your champions. The reasons why trading kind of makes Rivens a little bit better in Warframe is because you can get premium currency, which in Warframe is platinum, very similar to gems in Raid. This gives you added motive and added incentive to actually go out and roll the Rivens more. And outside of just, I don't know, farming the gear out, which you're going to be doing anyway, using resources to re-roll these Rivens for no real benefit other than hopefully maybe getting some better stats seems a bit redundant and a waste of time. The second thing that differentiates the two is that the resources in Warframe, namely Kuva, that you need to roll these Rivens, are fairly easy to acquire, or at least they were when I last played. You could sit in a Kuva survival or do a Kuva mission in and out in a couple of minutes and get a few thousand Kuva. If you go into a survival and stay for an hour tops, you can come out with a lot of Kuva, especially if you've got a resource booter on and a Smeeta Kavat. You can get a lot of Kuva in a very short amount of time. Whereas Raid typically doesn't give its resources out easily, so getting these Chaos Cores, I can imagine, especially for the 5 and 6 star and the high rarity Chaos Cores you're going to need in order to roll these artifacts, is going to be incredibly hard to acquire. It's going to require a lot of time and effort, and it's going to require high-end content, which again, you're going to need the stuff to do the content. You're going to need to get the stuff to roll. It's so backwards, and again, just screams waste of time. And then the final sort of thing that makes it most egregious to me is the fact that you can't see and compare. You can see the stats of your weapon or your artifact before you roll it, and you see the stats that you get once you've rolled it, but you don't get to see them side by side. And one of the things that makes Rivens sort of tolerable, even though they are pretty much hated within the community that I know of still, is that you get the choice of whether you keep the previous roll or you roll to the new stats, right? You can see which one side by side, and then you can say, all right, then I want to keep the one on the left because it's better. Whereas this, you can't. It just takes it, rolls it, and you get what you get. Again, huge amounts of risk involved. If they start throwing these Chaos Cores and stuff in packs for money, which, let's be honest, it's plarium, I don't give it long before they start doing that. It's just a horrendous predatory cash grab that I really dislike. And as a result, I'm probably not going to be partaking. Like, you're probably going to get them from Faction Wars. I'm sure that in the patch notes somewhere they've said where you can get them, but it seems like a Faction Warsy thing, especially with the Shadow King coming in. So I'm going to be getting them passively, but the amount of silver it requires to roll the gear, when I could just go out and farm the gear instead, which will get me silver and get me, you know, gear that I actually need and stuff. It just seems like something that nobody really wanted, nobody asked for, nobody needs, and yet those that are most vulnerable within the community, within the game, those that are likely to line Plarium's pockets are definitely the intended audience with this, and I really, really don't like it. Let me know in those comments down below whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, whether you think that they could be improved, whether you think Plarium might actually start allowing you to keep the old roll and maybe roll for the new one. It would still be egregious, it would still be horrible, it would still be a waste of time, but it would be a little bit better if they did at least add that in. Let me know in those comments down below, and thank you very much for watching this video. Ciao, ciao.